Hello, everybody. It's January 14th, and what I'm going to do today, and I'm going to try to do it once a month, is share what I do on Monday with my long distance learning. I have students coming in, and everybody can watch each other's critique, and I have people send the actual scene, a photo of the actual scene, and a photo of their painting. And what I do is I put it into a program called Art Rage, and I put a layer on top of their painting, repaint the painting, and talk about, I give a lot of instruction. So that's what we're going to do today. I did one other one on YouTube, and this will be my second one. So anyway, so now I'm going to share the screen, and I'm going to show you the board that we put up for our long distance learning. Okay, so this is Art Rage. Let's say share. So this is the actual board that you will see when you come into long distance learning. You've already sent three. You can send up to 3 paintings with a copy of the scene, a photo of the scene, and then a photo of your painting. And then what I have is, let me move this over. Well, anyway, you can't see it here. Well, let me move this up. Okay, you can't see it. But anyway, there's a picture of the student here. And then whatever the student has emailed to me, I'll put it here. And then on Sunday, I'll comment on what I'm going to talk to you about on Monday. Anyway, okay, so the other thing is this is my custom palette here that I work from. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to a new share. And this is, okay, so share. This is the palette, our custom palette. And this is how it corresponds to my actual palette. And I've got the actual paintings, the color of my paints here. So anyway, we also sell the Paint Saver palette, where you put your paints on this metal strip, and then you can put this. It goes into a casing, and then you can put these in the freezer. But anyway, that's a whole other thing that you can email me to find out about this particular product that we sell. Okay, so anyway, this corresponds to my palette. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back to new share. I'm gonna go back to the Art Rage. Okay, and what I'm gonna do is I'm going to enlarge this painting. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, so this is what the student sent to me. This is the actual photograph. So I talk about, for instance, I'm going to talk a little bit about perspective here. This is pretty good. If I were, let's see, okay, so if I were a person, I walked to this building, I would probably, my eye level would maybe be about here. Okay, so everything has to vanish down above your horizon line, which is good. She's almost there. I think it needs to be a little bit more extreme. And then everything underneath vanishes up. And these are all going to eventually meet on a horizon line. Okay, so that's the only perspective problem I see in this particular scene. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of those. Okay, so when you look at this, this is basically a white block in sunlight. And then we have kind of a, why isn't that undo? Okay, undo. Okay, so the lightest light is this white block in sunlight. So this is going, wait, let me get this bigger. So this is your lightest light, and this will be your lightest shadow. See, she doesn't have that relationship yet. So I'm going to repaint that. Okay, so I'm going to go to a light. Okay. A little bit lighter. I have a little bit of warmth on that. It's not a yellow. It's got some I'm going to move this over. Okay, so this is essentially your white block. I'm not even going to get, I will get into the windows later on, but right now I'm just going to get the big shapes. Okay, so a white in shadow, even Hinchy says that a white in shadow is some kind of blue. So I'm going to go to maybe this, this would be the ultramarine blue here. Okay, so that's the, that would be my first lay-in. Oops. Okay, so then we're going to go to, I think the white fence next to that, or whatever that is a little bit darker. And actually, I'm going to change the blue. This is a little bit less red. It's more of a green blue over here. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the red. This is essentially a red block in sunlight. So I'm going to put this here. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to go to the red block in shadow, which is here. Okay, then I'm going to go to the white trim, which is probably going to be a little bit darker than the foreground white house here. So I'm going to, okay. So now I'm going to go to the red roof, which is similar in color to the red in sunlight. Maybe a little bit lighter. Okay, so now the barn is a little bit, has a little bit, it's like it's got some brown in it and some purple too, but and there's a lot of reflected light, but I'm not going to paint yet. You can see the reflected light at the top. But I'm going to have one big color note. I'm trying to get simple statements. And then I can go back in and make changes. Okay, so I'm going to actually, I think there's a little bit of a white part here in shadow. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the, that concrete is pretty dark here. And as you can see, I'm not really repeating any color. I'm trying to paint the difference in these color notes. Okay, so I actually think what she has for the light plane of this whatever that is, concrete, it's darker than the white block. The other thing is I'm going to maybe put this up here too. We have a little bit of a, and then there's a little bit of a shadow underneath. It's hard for me to get a straight line with these. Okay, I'm going to maybe add a little bit of red to that to make it, to differentiate it from the barn part. And then there's probably a little bit of shadow on the building here too. Okay, so I'm gonna just make this. Okay, so now I'm gonna go to the trees in the back. See how complicated she has? I think we wanna break it down into a shadow and a light plane. Okay, so later on we'll get into, God, I don't know why these. Okay, so here's a big note for the shadow part of the tree. And then there's a few shadow here and there. And then I'm going to come in and have one big color note for the it's too dark. These little dots I keep clicking on them and they keep showing up. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm new at this, so this probably will not be perfect. Over the months, I'll get better at this. Okay, so, and then these are also shadow notes. With maybe a little bit of shadow here. Okay, so now the sky actually looks yellow to me, so I'm going to actually go to a yellow in that sky. Okay, so so let me see the difference. I've organized lights and shadows. I've simplified things and I haven't repeated any colors other than maybe this. Let me get this, and this. They're all whites. So I've repeated those, and these are very similar. Now this might be a little bit pinker that I'll get into later on. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the second stage. And I'm going to maybe get that window in too. Okay, so the window there's a shadow here. And then I'm just going to kind of average out the window pane here. Maybe that's in. And there's some whites or some reds, but okay. And then I'm going to get this part over here. Once again, there's a shadow here, here. Now this is just your first lay-in. And this is how I start with students. I get them to see these bigger notes. And then once we see these bigger notes, then we can start modifying the form and painting like the reflected light, etc. But I'm going to paint a little bit further on this painting. Okay, so I'm going to add some blue, greenish blue to the sky. Now, actually, I'm going to make it a little bit lighter, I think. Okay, so and it gets a little bit darker as it moves up to the zenith of the sky. It might be a little bit too dark. kind of mixing up these colors. Okay, so that looks more like the color of the sky. It's a combination of those two colors. I'm getting closer to the actual color. Okay, so now I'm going to add some local color to the green. And what I say about green is don't start with green. Green and sunlight, you don't want to, I'm not used to this mouse and it keeps, I keep picking up these little dots. Okay, so now I'm going to add some local color to this purple. And then it gets a little bit lighter. This is a little bit lighter here. And then maybe, let's see. This is going to be a little bit warmer here. There's some secondary changes here. Okay, so now I'm going to make this here a little bit warmer. Okay. Okay, so I want that back red building. I'm going to make, I'm going to put that white strip in there. And then when I get to the white part of that, okay, so I'm going to make a few changes. Okay, so this here is getting a lot of reflected light from this building. So I'm going to, it looks a little bit lavender to me. Okay, it's a little bit too dark, so let me get that lighter. And I'm going to mix those two. Okay, and I think underneath that white strip there, it's a little bit darker. Right here, it gets a little bit darker. Okay, so maybe I'm going to make that actually a little bit lighter blue. Too light. So when I'm painting, I'm mixing these colors together and making color changes, but I've got to make sure that I'm not repeating a color. Okay. It's maybe got a little bit of, it's got probably every color in it as I keep developing it. It's got, I'm going to get more of this yellow in there. Okay, so now I'm going to maybe make this here is a little bit lighter here and a little bit warmer right here. And as it moves out, it gets a little bit darker. Okay, so I think this is a little bit, maybe even a little bit lighter. Okay. Oops, too dark. Okay, so I just keep making changes. Now, what I'm going to do is maybe that back pink shed is maybe a little bit pinker than the roof. It's got a little less saturation, so maybe I'm going to make this a little less saturated than that roof. So the roof comes. Okay, I'm going to actually move that white strip over a bit. Okay. I mean, these are little details as I develop a painting. Now, I have my students, I keep them in the first stage for a while because I think it's important to get those bigger notes accurate before you go to a more finished painting. I'm going to stop pretty soon on this. Okay, so I think there's probably a dark here too. There's that transition period or transitional color over here. Okay, I think this might be a little bit darker. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop here and just talk a little bit about, okay, so let's look at the changes that I made. I'm organizing lights and shadows. So everything in shadow is darker than anything in sunlight. So your lightest light is your white in light, and this is your white in shadow. So this is your lightest shadow, your lightest light. And then you relate everything to that, you know. Okay, so I've organized, oh, I think there's one thing I have to do at the back. I didn't do right here. This is light. This is a light here. And then it gets a little bit darker, like right here. This is in light too. Okay. So I have an open studio, a virtual open studio on Sunday, January 17th. So if you're interested in joining that, coming in and asking me questions, I'm going to be talking about some of my paintings. You can go to Fine Art, one word, FINEART at sonic.net, and you can get the Zoom, the link to the Zoom. So subscribe and share this if you would. The program that we're using here is Art Rage. And if you come into my virtual studio on Sunday, you'll get 10% off of any of my products and 20% off of any painting. So anyway, thank you for watching, and I'm going to try to do this every month, and hopefully this will get easier, and there'll be less. There's a few things that happened in this video, like these dots at the bottom, because my my mouse was really sensitive, so I changed but these little dots here, I'm going to get rid of those at some point. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will do another one of these in February. So thank you for watching.